excited to be here to talk about the first UFC event in Fight Island. Let's go check out the blueprints. They did a little video tour and some things out there. Kind of looks like adult playground. We'll see how it looks. Looks pretty amazing so far. It is in Abu Dhabi. Oh Lord, have mercy. I'm so excited. I'm already getting tongue-tied. They've given us a super stacked card for this event. I'm super excited for it, so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm only going to make my main event picks right now, but please look out for Instagram, Twitter, and all that, where I will do additional picks and possible renegs, because I'm going back and forth already. So let's go ahead and get into it. On the main card, first up, I'm choosing Amanda Ribas to beat Paige Van Zandt. Now, Paige Van Zandt's actually been out for over a year and a half. She had multiple surgeries on her broken arm, plus she's on the last fight of her contract, and many think that she's going to go on to Bellator, where her husband already fights. And they kind of thrown her to the wolves. I think they think so too, because Amanda Ribas is not to be messed with. She's a number 14 ranked strawweight. She has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo. She's kind of a killer. And we'll see how this goes. We'll see where Paige is at, where the ring rust is at, and we'll see how far Miss Amanda Ribas has come. But I am picking Ribas. Next up, now I'm choosing, so stacked, I want to talk about this fight too, but I don't have time. I'm choosing Rose Namajunas to beat Jessica Andrade. Of course, this is their rematch. The last time they fought, Jessica took the title from her. But if you remember that last fight, Jessica Namajunas was actually tagging her up. She was tagging her up. And not to take anything away from Jessica Andrade, but when Jessica got her in that slam, it was Rose who held on to, I believe it was a Kimura lock she was trying to get. She held on too long and didn't protect her head and got knocked almost out with that slam. Again, not to take anything away from Jessica, because you're supposed to capitalize on your opponent's mistakes, which she did there. But I don't expect Rose to make that same mistake. However, it has been basically a year since she has fought. And with Rose Namajunas, her mental state is usually a question, but if she's in her right mind, I expect her to come through and win this fight, probably a 3-round decision. Exciting decision, but again, this could go either way. I'm super excited for this fight. This could be a main event, and the fact that it is the second fight on the card is kind of bananas. That's how great this card is. So now, on to the first of the 3 belts that we have here on the line. First up, for the vacant bantamweight, male bantamweight title, we have I believe he's the number 3rd ranked bantamweight in Petr Yan. If he's not number 3, he's ranked number 2. And then Jose Aldo, who I believe is ranked number 5 or 4. Someone correct me if I'm wrong there. I'm pretty sure I am about Jose. So people real quick wondering how Jose even got this fight, even though he lost against Marias. Half of the recognized MMA outlets actually recognize him as the winner. I myself thought that he won that fight. Plus, he's a name. We have a vacant belt here. You know that with him bringing that fan base, this is a sport as well as entertainment. And oftentimes, the entertainment section does kind of win out. So that's how we got here. Petr Yan earned it. There you go. So who's going to win this fight? So Jose Aldo. He is a little bit bigger. He's got a 3-inch reach advantage with the hands and a little bit of about 2-inch reach advantage with the legs. Hands, I don't think it's really going to matter, but the feet, I do think so. Now, they both haven't fought since, I believe, December, I believe it was. January or December. It's been about 7 months. That time off, I think, is going to be good for Jose Aldo, because in that fight against Marias, if you notice, he didn't throw many kicks because he actually had an injured foot. I think his leg and his foot should be healed by now, unless he re-injured it in training. So someone let me know if he did. I'm going back, looking through what's been going on, because there's so many intangibles with this quarantine, because they're not able to travel, not able to train, not able to get the health resources and all that they normally get. So it's kind of hard to gauge those intangibles. So I will be doing more research as far as what have they been doing. Has Jose re-injured himself? But up until this point, he should be better for it. So Petr Yan, he started off with Taekwondo, but of course got into that boxing. That is his base. Basically, he has got power. He is quicker than he looks. He's more powerful than he looks. Even though he's a bit smaller than Jose, he's physically strong. I don't know who's going to be stronger there. That remains to be seen. I think he will have a bit faster hands. Actually, not even think. I know he'll have faster hands than Jose, but he's going to have to pull out all that traditional boxing. He's going to have to fight behind a jab. He's going to have to put together combinations, feints, head movements, angles, footwork, all of that. Bring all that out and keep Jose away from you. Because again, Jose doesn't fight long. However, he's got thin kicks. And if his leg is healthy, I expect Jose to tear apart that lead leg. Petr is powerful. He's strong. He seems bigger than he is when he's in that octagon. You're going to need to take some of that out of his, take that steam out of those punches, tear apart that lead leg. Petr, if you do get in trouble, fall back on your wrestling and your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which you are a black belt, which is underrated. And unlike JDS, you will fall back on your wrestling and your grappling background. And I suspect you might want to do that here. Now, you might even want to mix it up with the wrestling and the takedowns starting from the beginning of the fight. Get him thinking. If you can get your hands on him, make him hold your body weight, zap some of that energy out. See if you can get him to gas. He's actually never been in a 3-round. I don't think he's been in a 5-round fight. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I do not believe he's been in a 5-round fight, at least not lately, because I did go through quite a few of his fights. So try to zap some of that energy and some of that power early. You being a vet, you actually kind of get started in the 3rd round, as we saw with Marlon Moraes. If he had 2 more rounds, you probably would have won that fight. So, having said all of that, who's first is going to matter. Who's first? Petr, you need to be first. Okay, you need to be first, and I would try to end this fight in the first 3 rounds if I was you, Petr. I don't know how your cardio is going to stand up. It might be great, it might not. I would try to end this fight in the first 3 rounds, but be smart about it. I'm actually going to go with Jose on this, partly because, of course, a little bit of bias there. I like the story. I'd love for him to come back and win another belt in a different weight class. That would be amazing. He's still only 33, although in fight years he's a lot older than that. But I wanted to come out the gate and say Petr, but then I just have this feeling that it might go into the 4th or 5th. He might gas. Jose might end it late in the fight. I don't know. We will see. I could renege on this pick, so please be looking out on my other platforms. Okay, next up, co-main event, and we are seeing the UFC featherweight champion, Mr. Alexander Volkanovski, taking on the rematch against the man he took that belt from, Mr. Max Blessed Holloway. Super excited for this rematch. Going back and forth on this one as well. So what's tripping me up is this. If you saw the first fight, you know that Alexander switched up his style. He actually has a wrestling base. He's never thrown that many kicks in his life in a fight, and he did it. He was able to do that for 3 rounds, enough to tear apart that lead leg, win those first 3 rounds, get Max hesitant, and then Max had to bite down and just kind of fight through the pain to get probably that 4th round, but not the 5th. It was enough. Max was too little too late. Also, Max did not make any adjustments, and I was shocked by this. He is the type of fighter who's normally able to see some things, make some adjustments during the fight. He did not do that here. Even when he won that 4th round, all he did was bite down and kind of go through the pain. He still didn't check the kicks. So, can Alexander Volkanovski put on a similar performance, a performance that's not his base? Can he fight out of character long enough, because in that 4th and 5th round he gassed? Can he do that again? Can Max Holloway make the necessary adjustments? Can he check those kicks? Can he be first? Is he powerful enough? How is his grappling? If it does go down, if Alexander does have a different game plan, which I suspect he probably will, just a little bit of a different game plan, I want to go with my boy. I love Max. He's one of my favorite fighters. I want Mini Blessed back in the limelight. But I am going to stick with the champ. I'm going to go with Alexander Volkanovski. How they look on the weigh-ins will be a big deal for me. I will go back and again see how they've been training. I know that Max has been training through Zoom with his coaches. Alexander, I know he's had access to some training partners, but even still, I'm going to go back and look at the intangibles. But for right now, I am sticking with the champ, Alexander Volkanovski. Sorry, Max. Okay. Now, main event, and the main event up to now has been saved. We are seeing the UFC welterweight champion, Mr. Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare, Usman, take on who we actually wanted to see him take on in the first place, which is Jorge Masvidal. Latin Jesus. All right. That's what we wanted to see in the first place. Of course, they had some contract disputes. He wasn't getting the money that he wanted from Dana White and the crew. So they said no. He said he was going to quit. He was going to retire. They've been going back and forth. Then Gilbert Burns got his way in there. We got all hyped up for that fight. Then Gilbert Burns tested positive for COVID-19. Him and several members of his corner. He is out. This happened, Saturday? Sunday? So as of now, 6 days notice, basically. We have the contract signed. It will be Jorge Masvidal to get this fight. So that's going to be a big deal here, you guys. That's going to be, because honestly, I would be, okay, let's just go ahead and talk about this. Okay, so we've got the challenger and Latin Jesus. And of course, he's got that kickboxing, that Muay Thai base. He's got that street fighting brawl base, but he has refined it with the Muay Thai and the kickboxing. He has great takedown defense, and he does have submissions as well. He's also unpredictable. He's way stronger, way more powerful than he looks. He's also quite flexible. He's very durable, great chin. The measurements, I was looking at the measurements. Kamaru is a bit longer than he is. I think Kamaru might be a bit thicker than he is as well. And as far as who's stronger physically, I definitely think Kamaru is going to be stronger just because of that wrestling base that he has. So Jorge needs to keep this standing. I think everybody's pretty much in agreement on that one. He needs to keep this standing and keep it in a distance where, even though Kamaru has a bit of a reach advantage with the hands, because Jorge fights longer than him, and that's his base, I don't think it's actually going to matter. So Jorge, you fight behind that jab. You be unpredictable, but you need to be selective with your kicks because of the wrestling threat that you're going to see from Kamaru. Because unlike Colby Covington, Kamaru is not going to stand and trade with you. Excuse me. He is going to take you down. He's going to wrestle you. He's not going to try you. He's going to wrestle you early, try to zap some of your energy, and then take you out either later in the fight or possibly early, depending on how that works, especially when you come in and off of 6 days notice and you have to cut 20 pounds as of today, Monday, this morning. You said you have 20 pounds to cut. There's a long trip making it over there to Abu Dhabi. Man, I love Latin Jesus. I love Latin Jesus. But there's a lot of odds stacked against him here. Kamaru Usman, of course, with that wrestling base. Again, even if Jorge had a full camp, I would still be leaning towards Kamaru because of the style matchup. Styles make fights. I think Kamaru might be a better wrestler than Jorge is a stand-up fighter. Maybe. Or I think that Kamaru has enough stand-up and a durable enough chin to get to his wrestling. Either way, this is a hard one for me to pick for Jorge with a full camp. So Kamaru Usman, I already know you're not going to stand with Jorge. It's just a matter of doing enough boxing, not telegraphing your wrestling takedowns, and not getting caught, protecting yourself, hands up, angles, don't leave your chin out there, all of those things. You better protect yourself. Up against the cage, don't get lax. Jorge has submissions. He has standing submissions. And if you do get him to the ground, he's actually pretty good off his back too. So don't get comfortable. Don't make those easy mistakes. Don't get baited into bad movement. Jorge Masvidal, pull out all the stops here. If you lose this fight, you're not going to lose really anything because you took it on 6 days notice, okay? However, if you do come in 6 days notice having to drop 20 pounds in 6 days and you win, holy crap, the BMFer that you would be, okay? So, however, I am picking Kamaru. I'm picking Usman. Again, I think there might be just a little too many factors here against Jorge Masvidal. But inside, I like both fighters, but inside, of course, Jorge's such a star. I'm rooting against my own pick here because I really want him to live up to that BMF. And the BMF title is not on the line because according to Jorge, he's more like the dorkiest MFer alive. He said you got to be a BMFer to be up for the BMF belt, and I do agree. You got to have a certain level of 0 Fs given to compete for that belt. So it's not on the line. And if he does win, holy crap. So those are my picks. I'm picking Kamaru, but I'm actually rooting against my own pick. Those are all my picks. Let me know all of your picks. Let me know any injury updates. And oh my gosh, please let no one else test positive for COVID-19, right? Right. Oh, also, I have just been added to the MMA Wrestling Point of View podcast. It can be found on iTunes. Oh Lord, I just blanked on it. Y'all, this is my first time. I just joined the team. Just finished with them actually earlier today with our breakdown along with some other things, current events, and all of that on the podcast. So I will have all of that information in the description below. Please check me out over there with Ant and Deontay. All right, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where I will have updates and reading eggs and more information. Subscribe, like, talk to me, take care. Goodbye.